Penrose Products is a manufacturing company that makes natural fibre bedding. We make bedding from alpacas, sheep's wool. We've experimented with yak and a few other rare fibres. And we make it without any major machinery. It's about bringing skills back into the industry on textiles, and it's having that hand-finished quality of, a UK manufactured product. Alpacas can live about 20 years. The fibre from the animals can only sustain its length, its staple length, and its fineness for about 7 years. After that, it becomes of no use to many people. And from there, I started to develop a proper set of luxury bedding products from that fibre. Previously, they were taking the fine fibre for these products, but actually there's, only 30% of their life is good enough for that industry. So it started there, and based on that, I then decided that if the core element of the product was the message, then everything else had to be. So that goes down to the way we use fabric. So all our offcuts go to make parts of the packaging. Then part of the packaging, we wanted to understand if there was any challenges back to the customer with regards to packaging, and what we wanted to do was reduce that. The print that you see on the outside of the box is a paper sleeve. It's the exact same paper that we use to make the pillow bags. So when you undo this box, you take that sleeve off, you'll take the duvet out. Inside, the duvet's in a tote bag, which is made out of the waste fabric. You then put your duvet on your bed. Once you've dealt with putting your duvet on your bed, you don't throw this packaging away. You turn the tote bag inside out, you put it in the bin, it lips over the top and put the lid back on, and that's an active linen bin. And then the paper can go into a biodegradable waste piece. I was introduced to the Sustain programme through Ray Newell of Oakhall Management when I was looking at how I can develop my packaging. And Ray then came along, had a chat with me, looked at my packaging, and then recommended that I talk to the Packaging Society, who then gave me a bit of advice on the next steps, and I was introduced to the Sustain programme.
We were really pleased to actually be granted the opportunity to work with Sustain Lincolnshire. It was a great idea. And we went for a packaging competition as part of the Sustain activity. And doing that, obviously having worked with the IOM3 and the Packaging Society previously, we thought it would be a great idea to partner with them to actually make this competition that we were putting together work.
Where we gave support was using our experience and knowledge of the packaging industry to help small companies who don't have that sort of information.
From there, we won the first round, which was great. That helped us then buy the cutting forms, which makes the hole in the bag, and also the cutting forms to make the POS stand, because they're very expensive. It's the biggest expense of starting up your packaging is just them pre-cutting form pieces. We submitted our products into the Gift of the Year competition, and we got highly commended in the eco-friendly category, and we were the winners of the luxury premium category. What we didn't have was the final piece of how the packaging will really, pull together. And that's where the Sustain piece came in at the right time, because if we hadn't have had that cutting form within that 2-month window, the pillars would not have got into the Gift of the Year competition, because the bag just wasn't right at that time. We now make that bag as we pack our pillow, so it comes in 2 separate halves, which is where the innovation comes in. So to make a bag like that, and to buy a bag, you're talking a lot of money. When you turn it into 2 sheets of paper and you do something different with the cutting form and you're creative, actually it makes your branding and your print runs a lot tighter, a lot slicker, and you don't need so many of them. I would say that, every SME should have a go at this, because it makes you relook at the way you've developed your product. It makes you answer the questions that you're probably not going to ask yourself. And you don't get anywhere unless you try this. It makes you look at your branding, it makes you look at your packaging, it makes you look at your supply chain. You do ask yourself a different set of questions, because you're not really sure at the end of the day what questions you're going to ask. So you shouldn't be going into this thinking it's just I'm going to show my products. This is about, do you understand your products, the value that you're adding by delivering those products, and you get a good business sense around it, and it gives you a bit of clarity around what you're doing in direction.